Okay, so the pump has come on the compressor. This washer wears out, and this is what I'm trying to get to in here. Now you can see how it's shiny on that one side there. Junk out the trunk. By the way, if you haven't lifted a spare tyre out of a Range Rover, it's quite far in. With the tailgate down, you kind of do your back in. So this is what this is for. And you hook it over the tailgate like this. So you put your tailgate back up, and you lift this, and you hook it on here. And now as you pull this down, it raises the tyre. Okay, so the pump has come on the compressor. You can just about hear it. Give that a twist and it comes off, and then just disconnect this plug. There's 4 bolts here, 2 different sizes. Okay, just undo a couple of the cable ties, and that's your compressor. So you need to now disconnect the airline hose. What you do is you push this in towards the body of the valve there, and then you pull gently on the hose and it will separate, just like that. There you go, one Range Rover air suspension compressor. Let's get it on the bench, let's get that little seal changed. Right, turn it upside down. We need to loosen this panel. So something like this will do, just a little pry bar. Just be careful of the gasket because you don't want to tear it. It's got a waterproof feature about it, and this is like a non-setting adhesive that they use there. It's pretty good. You can reuse that again, so I'll put that aside. Okay, so we're going to remove this little cable clip here, and then these 3 10mm nuts, which will take it off the actual shell here. To hold the other end, stop it spinning, just on here. There's a nylock on there for obvious reasons, because it vibrates. And keep the fixings in the same order. So here's a little rubber gasket again, stop it vibrating loose. So washer on and then the nylock. Let's keep that aside. Do the other three. As I haven't done this before, but I've seen a couple of people talk about this online, and I'm hoping by removing the seal inside it's one less thing to worry about, because after all it's a 2004 Range Rover, so things wear out, and there's a gasket seal in here which I'm trying to get to and remove, and it could be the reason we're getting the suspension fault. Certainly nice and dry in here, which is always a good sign. It's mounted off the deck of the floor of the car, and I've showed you in my previous video that I always like to make sure I leave one of the drain plugs free, so that if there's any water that gets into the boot trunk, it's got somewhere to go. Right, so let's undo this little clip. Okay, and there's your compressor. Put that down there. Just to show you inside, there's 3 more of these washers, and they go on top there. So I'm going to leave them there so I remember where they go when I put them back together again. Okay, now the next stage is I'm trying to get inside here. Well, this is a kit that I bought. I'm going to put the link on a card, and I'll put it in the description for you. But the main culprit I found is this little guy here. This washer wears out, and this is what I'm trying to get to in here. There's also other seals and things, and there's bolts. You probably won't need them. So I've got the kit on Amazon. They're particularly good with their returns policy. That's why I like using them. And you can get next day delivery. So it gets you out of a bit of trouble. Okay, so I think I'll take these cable ties off. Just be very careful and make sure you don't snip the pipes. Take your time. There's one. There's another one there. Okay. Okay, so similar to on the actual car, I'm going to now just remove this air pipe, and you do that by pushing this little flange in towards the fitting and then just pull gently on the pipe and it should come off. That's why removing those cable ties gives you a bit more purchase. There we go. Check the condition of it, looks okay. This is a little white mark here, which is good. It's a guide how far you need to push that in, so that's good. And likewise on this one here. So I want to push this little brown collar in that way and then pull the pipe at the same time. In fact, I've got a little tool that might help me. See if this is wide enough just to push that back. Yeah, it looks perfect. Okay, so a little forked tool here. Very gently push. That's easier, and that's the pipe removed. I'm going to leave it in situ so I can remember where it goes. Okay, next. Okay, now there's a temperature sensor in here we need to get to. Oh, here we go. So I need to remove this Torx. Just a couple of turns. It's a T30. So, all glasses on here. 230, good. So if I undo this a few turns, it will then hopefully allow my temperature sensor, which is here, to then come free. Aha. A little bit more. It's quite tight, that. There we go. So there's the temperature sensor. Okay, that's good. Okay, so now we need to remove this bracket. It's a 10mm. It's got a bit of thread lock on there, so you might want to apply some medium strength back on again. Medium strength Loctite 275 is pretty good. Obviously this is vibrating, so you want to reduce any risk of it coming loose. Alright, so that's that done. Okay, so now we want to remove this 10mm nut. And then you should be able to take the bracket off. Okay. Okay, just going to remove this airline here. Same idea, push in the collar, pull the pipe. There you go. Remove this sensor. There's a small metal clip here. It's got a small screwdriver or something to get in there. That's it. Push the clip back on so you don't lose it. It will push up and clip itself on when you put it back in. Now we need to get into the top of the cylinder here. So there's a Torx here. Let's see if it's the same size. Yep, same size. It's a 30mm, sorry, a T30 Torx. I'll do that. Okay. So I haven't done this before. I'm just wanting to show you what it's really like, so that if there's anything I think I could do better, I will let you know. And there's like a 10mm socket here. Maybe my socket might reach in. Not quite. Where's my 10mm? Here it is. Oh, it will do. Okay. Right, that's the standoff, they call it. Standoff. Okay, so a moment of truth. I'm going to try and lift this body off the pump here. Okay. Oh, that's pretty easy. Okay, so here you can see there's evidence of it worn. It's not too bad, but it hasn't been replaced for a while. Also, important to have a look inside the body and see if there's any wear marks in there as well. And it all looks pretty good. So let's get the seal changed and put the new one on. So you need to make sure you check the orientation here, and I believe you can just, there's a little pin just in there. And there's also a rubber seal here, which maybe I'll change that too. Does it come with one? Yeah, it does. It comes with a red one. So I can maybe change that seal. Yeah, might as well. So I need to remove this now. I believe you can just pull them apart. Now you can see how it's shiny on that one side there, more than the other side. So now, let's replace it. Have a look at the new one. There's the new one here. Definitely dimension wise it looks to be a fraction bigger, which is good. You can see that there. It's probably a 1/3 of a mil bigger. So this goes on that way, doesn't it? And just open it up, put it back on. Like that. Good. Okay, so looking at the new piston ring here, it's definitely not got the taper. I think this is actually by design, and this is going to bed itself in. So I'm just going to check to make sure that there's no foreign particles in there. You can see evidence of a bit of debris there. So I'm going to get a dry rag and just give that a little clean. That's pretty good. Okay, likewise inside the body here. This again has got a tapered design. It's not worn, it's how it creates its seal. So maybe this has been on the vehicle since it was made new, which, when you think about it, it's got to be nearly, well, coming up to 20 years. 20 years old. Looking pretty good. Right, that's that done. That's the old seal. Going to put the new one on. Just make sure it's all good. Here's the new, here's the old. Okay. Okay, so ring goes on here. Like so. Okay. Okay, so no lubrication. No lubrication. God, I'm such a child. No lubrication's needed. It's a dry system. So carefully offer the two back together again, making sure that that O-ring and everything is nicely seated and doesn't come loose. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Right, so reassemble is the same as disassemble. Okay, so let's reassemble. Start off with this standoff. And then there was a Torx in here. 2030 T30 Torx. Just knit them up, I wouldn't go too tight. Back to the 10mm socket. Right, I'll put the frame back on again now. Just fitment is in reverse, really. So let's put this pipe in. What's this pipe here? Okay, temperature probe. Right, I think we'll put the bracket back on because that was the last thing I remember doing. Okay, so there's a temperature sensor whilst I remember. Just push the temperature sensor in a little bit with your thumb. tighten this, not too tight. You just want to hold the sensor. I can feel it grabbing now. Yeah. Okay, temperature sensor. Right, what else? There's a little nut on the back here that needs to go on. Little nut there. Oh good, it's just started moving. Okay. Right, what else? That's in. Let's put this pipe back in. Goes like that. It was around the back here, if I remember rightly. Like this. Give it a little pull. Okay. Let's fix this one. Okay, that's in. Right. What else have I done? That's in there. Is there another one? That's in there. I think that's it. I don't think there's any more. It's quite straightforward. There was one more down here. This went through the frame. Okay, we are done. Okay, so make sure you got these washers in place and then just mount the compressor back in. Cables obviously exit there, and then you're going to put the little cable connector on there as well. Washer, nut. Put the cable clip back on again. I noticed when I did it before that the flat part of these washers face the middle. Right, that's that done. I'm going to put this air line back in again. So why don't we just turn it on and we'll see what it's like when it's running. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise the suspension. That's the suspension raised. Everything seems to behave itself. Just get the cover back on. Just sort of manipulate this seal here. This stuff's really good. It's obviously designed not to set and gives a watertight seal. So I'm just going to kind of squeeze it up to make it nicely mould between the pipes, something like that. Then when you put it back on here, it's going to squash up and give a nice seal. Okay, let's do that, just like that there. You've got a nice seal there now. Okay, done. Let's get it on the car. Oh. Twist in. Right, done. So that's the air relief valve. I've just lowered the suspension. So the air relief valve sounds good. As you see, you can hear it vibrating there. So, did it work? Unfortunately not. The air suspension inactive fault is still on my dash. But you know what, it hasn't all gone to waste, because importantly, the whole point of me doing these types of videos is I'm trying to show you how I would normally tackle a problem. I do each thing at a time, and replacing that little seal at the back on the compressor is actually quite a known fault. And what I was hoping was the issue was the compressor starts to run and it will go on longer and longer because the seal is not doing its job. So it runs on for longer, it gets too hot, and then it triggers a fault on the dashboard. So that's what I was hoping the fault was. Unfortunately, it didn't work on this occasion, but I've done a bit of preventative maintenance here because I now no longer need to worry about that seal in the back. Hasn't been changed in 18 years. That's one less thing to worry about. And if it's helped you guys out in YouTube land fix your problem on your Range Rover L322, then that's, for me, is what it's all about. So use the video, press play, pause it, do that job, follow exactly what I've done, press play again, pause it, do the next bit. And as you see, it didn't actually take me that long. It wasn't that difficult. There wasn't really any special tools. But you just need perhaps that little bit of confidence, a little bit of encouragement to try that yourself. You can save yourself a ton of money by doing it as well. So give it a go if you're thinking about doing it and you might have the same fault as me and your compressor's running on, then use my video, and that's what it's all about. So looking back on the other 3 episodes that I've done, the initial one was just a quick diagnostic where I cleared the code. Obviously the fault came back. In the second episode I went a lot deeper into the diagnostics and it pulled up 3 main areas, that being the air suspension, the ABS module, and the steering angle sensor. I cleared all those faults, but then they kept reappearing. Changing the compressor seal didn't actually work on this occasion, and I know the ABS is just being triggered because it's part of the same linked CAN bus, so I'm not going to worry about that. And when I did the speed probe test, looking at the speed on each of those wheels, they were all behaving, so it tells me the ABS is actually, the sensors at least, are doing what they should do. Which really only kind of leaves the steering angle sensor, which is what I'm going to do on my 4th episode coming up. So if you've subscribed, you'll get notification when I do that. And look, thanks very much for encouraging me and supporting my little YouTube channel. That's why I do these videos, and a few more new subscribers have joined me since I've been doing this particular fault finding on the Range Rover. So if this is your sort of thing, have a look at the last other couple of episodes I've done. I've also done a really good playlist here which is predominantly just Range Rover and also diagnostics as well. If you subscribed,
thanks so much as well. See you on the next one. Let's see if we can get it fixed. Mine, there you go.
Let's move on, 'cause it's time to move on.